I would say, Bernie, why don't you take it away?
Yeah, or for Matthew Rife, Matthew, if you're ready to do a quick one there.
Yeah, 100%.
Awesome.
There we go. I don't know. Am I on screen?
You are.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, it wasn't showing up. So a lot of you guys may know of Royal Rife, who actually works with resonant frequency oscillation. And, you know, over the years, it's been known to be a pseudoscience. And, you know, so I'm Matthew Rife, and I kind of stepped out with technology, and I'm forming back to be able to bring Uncle Roy back to where he should be at. Because there's a lot of this stuff that's coming about, just like with astronauts, you know, whenever they leave the Earth, they have all kinds of sicknesses and everything whenever they come back in the 60s, and now they're using PEMF, pulse electromagnetic frequencies. So just on the aspect of just science, I'm going to start off with that, because every cell has its own signature of electromagnetism field. So a movement of electrons about an atom's nucleus generates specific ionic interactions and energy emissions, thereby resulting in an ion-based electromagnetic signature pattern of an atom. The electromagnetic signature patterns of multiple atoms are compounded in molecular electromagnetic signature patterns when the multiple atoms combine to form molecules. Similarly, the electromagnetic signature patterns of multiple molecules are compounded in cellular electromagnetic signature patterns of multiple molecules to combine and form cells. We all see where this is going. This is your human body that's made up. So, you know, just standing on every bit of physics and everything else, whenever you come about this, you can see that everything that Roy was talking about was true. So he used a lot of different tools that we don't have access to this day, as in we don't have the same quality of electrical components as in, you know, vacuum tubes of that nature. I've looked for them. I've tried to recreate it. There's no way I could possibly recreate anything unless I had components like he did. So I sat down and I started designing different electromagnetic frequency wave field generators with copper coils. So that's what I have here. And these are the coils that I generate now. Let's see, where's my camera at? And so you'll notice that the coils are unlike a lot of other ones, and that's because they actually have the Fibonacci sequence that's into the winding, just like whenever Jeremy was talking about the cochlea. Now the cochlea will, you know, it'll filter out different frequencies. It makes you hear like more pure tones. This right here, whenever people listen to sound healing, that makes sense to me, because then you have electrical synapses that runs through your brain after it goes into your ear and it hits the base of your skull and it goes through processing. Now, EMFs, they are not sounds. They do not have to have atmosphere to be able to travel. There's no compression, decompression, and it will travel throughout your muscle systems and through your body. Now, what I have found, like take 95 hertz, for example, you can take one of my smaller coils and you can run 95 hertz on EMF. And any woman that has like period cramps, abdominal pain of that nature, 95 hertz will oscillate this nerve that runs up your spinal column through your back, and a nerve can only feel one sensation at a time. So therefore, it's going to be stimulated through this. It's going to have an energy field running. It's actually going to have 95 hertz energy wave running through that nerve ending, and it stops the pain within the abdominal area. Now there's other hertz, everyone's a little bit different. So the abdomen area, I think there's 135 as well. And, you know, generally it's just one of those, there's three of them, I think, that works overall. 95 seems to be the most popular one. Now, I didn't stop at only one coil, and this kind of leads into a little bit of stuff what Dave was talking about, and Jeremy, whenever we talk about, you know, anti-gravity and however you want to call it. I actually have two different coils that come with each set. And if you notice, it's a differential wire gauge. Your differential wire gauge, what it's going to do, it's going to dictate the size of the EM field that you're putting out. So the thicker wire, you're going to put out like a larger EM field, and then yep, right here. So it's throwing up different coils. Now, what this is going to do, if I know I'm getting this wrong, but it's Faraday effect, Faraday rotation, to where you got two EM fields passing by each other. You're going to create a third magnetic field. It's going to be a third the size, third the power. Now, that right there mathematically worked out within my different gauges of wire. Then it's 369 if you break it down, because it's 1, 2, 3 actually, and then 369. But all of this, I don't think it's because of the differential within the wire gauge. I don't think it's actually doing Faraday rotation. I think it's doing more than that, because every field that passes by within that differential, it's creating another field. So I'm looking at things like what Dave was talking about, the connection between time and light, and how, you know, they connect and they're so sequential to each other. That electrostatic, what happens when you take electrostatic around something and you run one field one way faster than the speed of light and another field the other way, and you're creating that Faraday rotation within an electrostatic field, you're creating two EM fields that take you outside the boundary of gravity. So I think it was Weiss and some other guys, I forget their name, that just in 2017, they got the Nobel Prize for gravitational waves. And I've read through that, and there's a lot of things I completely disagree with, but there's a lot of things that I agree with too that are on par. So I'm working on stuff like that on the far end. I've worked on things like what Dave's talking about. It is very simple what he's saying, like for anybody to harness the stuff. And there's a reason that he showed the prism effect. And there's a reason that my stanchion stands straight up, but a little bit inward, but not far, because it, you know, these are wave and field generators. But within that, I mean, we have to work within energy, and we have to work within frequency and resonant frequency. And that's one of the biggest things that I've picked up on, is that all of you are really connected to frequencies, and you're studying about energies and how these energies interact with other energies. I forget the waveform that was being spoke about earlier, but Schumann resonances. So whenever you take two Schumann resonances, then they kind of oppose each other. And yeah, that makes total sense. It's kind of like Wi-Fi in your house. If you're going to run two Wi-Fi routers and they're not in sync with each other, those signals are going to combat, and it's going to be able to create like a negative field for you to be able to pick up. So these are just a lot of different things I'm working on. I'm also working on agriculture, and it's a twist on electrostatic, to where I'm creating plasma generated, it's ionized jet propulsion kind of, but it's plasma generated fans, to where you can suck through nitrogen, and it splits a nitrogen molecule into nitrogen atoms, which is essentially fertilizer, the same way that lightning works within an atmosphere. And it's just a lot of different things that we're working on. And I have to say, it's an honor just to be invited on here to be able to talk about all this. I apologize for my lack of knowledge on a lot of things, but I've been enjoying every bit of the stream so far. And I just really like everything that I've heard so far within propulsion. I think that ionized jet propulsion is a quick and very soon coming way to be able to propel planes and everything here on Earth. I was looking at making a drone that had ionized jet propulsion, like 4 corners on it. I haven't worked it out because it is heavy, and we all know the physics of that, to where a lot of people are using the lifters out of aluminum foil and things. So, but hopefully it can come to that point. And that's about all I got. This was quick on me. I'm up here at my family's house, so I apologize for being so quick too.
For sure. Thanks, Matthew. And we'll be doing another stream afterwards together, going further into the health and agricultural aspects of your technology following once APEC's done. And Gerald, did you get your microphone working there? If you want to answer quick questions, and Gerald will also be joining me and Matthew Rife on the episode afterwards.
Not sure if my mic's working. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, brother.
Awesome. I gotta apologize to everybody. I didn't know this was the last APEC, so I didn't set up a demonstration, and for that I'm lacking. So that being said, I'll do a little show and tell of what I'm working on. I just had this. I obtained this actually just recently, and this is for a project that I'm working on for a demonstration in anti-gravitics or alternative propulsion, as you were. I have to work on the fastening system inside this bell, but needless to say, what was shown on a previous video by another gentleman, I know this is going to be a big claim, but let's just say I'm going to be doing that with this bell. And there's a reason for that, because I want to show it in sort of a historical point of view at the same time as releasing that which I know and what I've obtained and gotten to at this point. And once that's done, which should be in the next week or two, it sucks that APEC is over. I have to say, Tim, Jeremy, Mark, everybody who put in, you guys have done an amazing job. All the interviews that you've done, this will definitely go down in history as legendary. So I apologize for not being part of that. We were trying to set up sort of a whole thing for me being on the conference, but I didn't have a computer set up at the time. And now that I'm at that point, it's just sad that APEC's over. But I do applaud every one of you that put it together, because you definitely deserve it. All of Mark's experiments, Tim's interviews, and well, Jeremy, he began this a long time ago. I've been watching Jeremy Reese since Alien Scientist back in 2012, so or 2011. But yeah, that's all I really got. I was not prepared to show much. I could show the very first coil I built and show the system that I'm operating on now, but it's basically just a show and tell. So other than that, this is me. I've been working on coils for the last 10 years, roughly. I've made over 150 different coils, from solenoids to starships to star panseas and other names that haven't even been brought out to the public, so to speak. All these different coils do different things, and they all have different purposes. Maybe in the future on Bernie's channel, I'll get to show a lot of those different aspects, like some of the experiments that I'm doing with food growth. And this again is another large claim, but it's been documented and videoed. I have been able to increase the growth in celery and in lettuce by 30%. It's 1/3 faster and it tastes better. I can't say that it's more nutrient filled. That's something that has to be tested. But as it stands, through electromagnetics and the systems that I've built, these things work. They're for real. Growing food seems to be a little easier when you set up the system in a way that it's within the dirt. So that's all I really got for you. I just wanted to say thank you to Tim, Mark, Jeremy, everybody that put it together. And that's my little show and tell on me. Not much to show, not much to tell, but
Gerald, thank you, sir. Thank you. Look, you know what? Before we go further, let me put this thing on gallery view. Everyone, please give Mr. Matthew Rife, as well as Bernie and Gerald, a giant applause. And let me apologize to Matthew. The only reason I cut in on medical claims is YouTube, as many of you may know, YouTube is notoriously picky about that. They just flip out, and so that's something that we avoid completely, because you know they'll come back in a month or a year and you know say, oh, this violates this or that, we're taking it down.
Like Jason Verbelli, they deleted his 2 accounts simply for the structured water, and he was a APEC guest before.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, and so that's just an area that we have to stay completely away from. You know, it's they do. I understand why, because I've seen stuff in the past that they've, you know, it's like, but I think the problem is they've taken their moderation too far, you know, and so we just have to kind of work around it. But I do appreciate you bringing Matthew on, and if he's, I'm not sure if he's still here, but you know,
yeah,
I do want to.
He is. He's just probably dealing with his nephew and niece over at his brother's house.
And that's okay. Yeah, you know, and again, I didn't mean to cause trouble for him when he was discussing his coils. I was just trying to avoid future trouble with moderators. So.
Absolutely understandable. And thank you, Tim, for everything that you have done. I guess we're all a little shocked and heartbroken that it's ending, but it's a legendary 2 years plus that you've done this, and everything you've brought out, and the development of your Tim Ventura channel. Please tell me you are still doing that, because that is next level work that I think we all will benefit.
Yeah, I'm still doing that right now. I'm focused mostly on catch up at work. So, but
fair enough.
Can we give Tim a huge hand, like the biggest hand ever, because of his awesomeness and all this?
Well deserved. Well deserved.
Well, thank you. All I do is moderate. This is all APEC this is all your guys' stuff. All I do is play traffic cop. So
yeah, thanks, Tim. And I'm offering free peer-to-peer video conferencing, but there's no way we'll be able to replace you as an interviewer. But we'll do our best, I guess.
For all the Canadians in here, maybe we could start Canadian anti-gravity.
Well,
you can call it APEC.
Tim's inspiration over the years,
I guess if I could offer a suggestion, the place, I think not every, but nearly every APEC has been streamed on Jeremy Reese channel. And then on top of that, Jeremy Reese has probably done 10 times more videos over that period of time. Some of those were interviews with people, others were group discussions. So I would recommend everybody just stay tuned to Alien Scientist. And then I would also recommend that people just follow Falcon Space, right? And there is a Facebook chat, and I'll put links up to all of this. There's a Facebook chat, there is Twitter that I've been getting on Mark to update. And then there's also, and this is on the APEC website in the contact page, there's a very active WhatsApp group. Mark moderates that. I think there are two of them, and anybody who has WhatsApp can join those and discuss. And so I would recommend that everybody just stay up on those. And this research is going to continue. I mean, it always has and it always will, right? But I think in terms of the conference, the biggest thing that we've run into is we've exhausted, we basically outpaced what the community is able to do. And, and so then the problem becomes, if we keep doing them over time, it will get very repetitive and the quality will drop and people will be like, what happened to this and that and the other thing. So it's better to just take a long break, and then we can probably come back to things, in the future. And I'm not sure when that will be, but that's kind of the idea behind it. So.
Well, just let us know when we can buy our APEC reunion tour conference tickets, and I'm pretty sure you'll be sold out.
You could always